Hi everyone. Today we're going to be looking at perhaps one of the most used factoring techniques, which is called the greatest common factor technique. So if you don't already have it in your notebook, please put today's subtitle, which is common factor technique. Well, let's take a look at what multiplication looks like first. I'd like you to skip a few lines, and I would like you to put the following expression: m multiplied by a plus b minus c. Well, how would this look like if you were to multiply it? Well, let's do a distribution. It ends up being ma plus mb minus mc. Well, if we can consider the distribution as quote-unquote going forward, so I'd like you to put an arrow going forward, and on top of the arrow put multiply, then we can consider factoring as going backwards. So in your important color, please put an arrow going backwards, and under that arrow put factor, and please put the statement where m is the common factor. Alright, so let's take a look at the procedure. The procedure basically involves two steps. The first step is something that you've already seen before, but I just want to make sure everyone's okay, so please put EX. What is the greatest common factor? I usually just put GCF of, and I'm going to give you a bunch of monomials. How about 16x cubed? How about the second monomial is 24x to the 4? And how about the third monomial is 8x to the 5? I'd like you to pause the video now and identify for me what is the greatest common factor to all three monomials. Go ahead, do it now. Alright, let's see how you guys did. Well, the greatest common factor of 16, 24, and 8 is 8. There is an x that's common to all four terms, so I'm going to take out the x. And the smallest exponent on the x is the 3. So my greatest common factor for all these three monomials is 8x cubed. How did you guys do? Excellent. Let's keep going. Now, how does the actual factoring technique look like? Well, let's take a look at what's involved in the second step. I would like you to put EX. Suppose the question was the following: factor 16x cubed plus 24x to the 4 plus 8x to the 5. Well, the first step is the same as in the previous example, which is to pull out the common factor for all three terms. So I'd like you, in your important color, to put down that greatest common factor. We found that it was 8x cubed. Now, switch back to your regular color and put a nice big bracket. Now, the second step involves filling in this bracket. But what do we fill it with? Easy. Take the original polynomial that I gave you, the 16x cubed, plus the 24x to the 4, plus the 8x to the 5. Close up that bracket. And I'd like you to switch to your important color. And this is how we obtain the objects inside the bracket. Every term of the polynomial must be divided by the common factor that you pulled out. So let's do it like this. Put your divide symbol and put the greatest common factor, which was 8x cubed, 8x cubed, and 8x cubed. And the final step is just to simplify everything inside the bracket. don't forget that all your laws of exponents must apply. So our final factored answer will be 8x cubed, open up the bracket, so 16x cubed divided by 8x cubed is just 2. 24x to the 4 divided by 8x cubed will give me 3x to the power of 1, written just like that. And the final term, 8x to the 5 divided by 8x to the 3 is just plus 1x to the 2. And close up that bracket. So, how would you check if your final factored form is correct? Easy. You can always go back forward by doing the distribution. Check. And let's go back forward. 8x cubed times 2 is 16x cubed. 8x cubed times 3x gives me 24x to the 4. And 8x cubed times 1x squared gives me back my 8x to the 5. We got our original question back, so we know that our factored form is correct. Alright, let's see that one more time. Let's work one out together again. I'd like you to put an example. Let's try this one. Put the question down. Factor the following. 5a squared b cubed minus 10ab to the 4 plus 25a cubed b squared. Alright, first things first. Let's pull out that common factor. I'm going to put it in an important color. So, greatest common factor between 5, 10, and 25 is 5. There's an a in all the terms, so I'm going to pull out the a. And the smallest exponent on the a is 1, so just a. There's a b common to all of them, so I'm going to pull out the b. And the smallest exponent on the b is 2. I'm going to open up my brackets. I'm going to rewrite the polynomial 5a squared b cubed minus 10ab to the 4 plus 25a to the 3, b to the 2. I'm going to close up the bracket. And I'm going to divide every term by the greatest common factor. Divide, divide, divide by 5ab squared, 5ab squared, and 5ab squared. And let's see what our final factored form is. It's going to be 5ab squared, and in the brackets, I believe I'm going to have ab minus 2b to the 2 and plus 5a to the 2. Close up that bracket. And we're done. Alright, I think it's time for you guys to try one on your own. So please put example. Alright, try this one. Factor 16x squared y cubed minus 24x y to the 5 and plus, how about 4x to the power of 3 y to the power of 2. I would like you to pause the video now and give it a shot. Alright, let's see how you guys did. So, the greatest common factor of 16, 24, and 4, I believe is 4. There's an x that's common to all of them, so I'm going to take out the x. The smallest exponent is 1, so I'm just going to leave it. And there is a y that's common, so I'm going to take out the y. And the smallest exponent on the y, I believe, is 2. Alright, open up the brackets. Now normally, the second step, most people tend to just do it in their heads. So, I'm going to do in my head. 16x squared y cubed divided by 4xy squared. So 16 divided by 4 is 4. X squared divided by x to the 1 is just x. And y cubed divided by y squared is just y. Next, negative 24 divided by 4 is negative 6. X divided by x, that cancels out. And y to the 5 divided by y to the 2 is y to the 3. And the last term, 4 divided by 4 is 1. X cubed divided by x to the 1 is x squared. And y squared divided by y squared, that cancels each other out. And we're done. How'd you guys do? Good stuff.